Alright, so I want to tell you a story, and it relates to actually a few different stories, but I'm going to combine them all together into one, and I think this is actually going to be a little bit interesting for you guys, because I've made videos before where I sort of tell you about people I've been talking to in regards to their goals. Like, I like to ask people, what are your goals? What are you working on at the moment? Because I think it's an interesting conversation, and it's actually a really good way to bond with people, to talk about, you know, their aspirations and their dreams, and you'll find that they actually ask you that back. But anyway, I've been talking to a few people, different people in my life. What are your goals? What are you working on right now? You know, all kinds of questions like that. And the interesting thing I've found is that a lot of them, you know, don't have any goals at all, which we've already talked about, so I'm not going to go into that here, even though it is kind of unfortunate. But for a lot of people, when you kind of press them a little bit in a nice way, not like interrogate them, I'm not waterboarding them, trying to get them, you know, to tell me their goals, but even, you know, for a lot of them, when they say, oh, I don't really have any goals, when you kind of talk about it a little bit more, you do see that they sort of do. They're not really goals. They don't have anything written down. They're not doing anything to work on them. But they do have dreams. When you kind of phrase the questions like, what would you like to do? You know, where would you like to be? If you could, you know, snap your fingers and have one skill right now, what would it be? And they, you know, the goals kind of come out like, you know, learn guitar, or maybe it's, you know, learn this language. It could be anything, right? Like they start to come out, you know what I mean? They're not actually goals, but they just have aspirations and emotional things that they wish they could do. They just don't work on them. And what I realized is the case for, I think, 100% of these people. There is a very, I'll say 99, there's a very small group of people who are the exception. I know I'm in that group, and hopefully you are too if you're watching this, but I know for a lot of people, they have these goals. They have these things that they wish they could do or were better at, or these problems that they wish they could solve in their life, and they haven't even read one single book on it. I know that sounds dumb. It's like, oh, yeah, it's a book. What's a book going to do? But I just think it's very interesting that some people, even some of the people who do have goals in mind, like they're like, oh, I want to do this. I want to live in this place. I want to have this job. I want to be able to do this skill. Maybe it's, I don't know, it could be anything, right? And then you ask them, what have they actually done? And they haven't even read a single book on it. Like, I've talked to friends who have, like an injury from working out, right? So they actually are kind of productive. They exercise, and they've said, oh no, I've had to take time off because I've had to take 2 months off, this particular exercise. Maybe it's legs, just because I keep hurting myself during this exercise. And I would just ask them, like, have you got a PT? Have you read a book on that injury? Have you, like, maybe not even read a book, that's a bit extreme. Have you, like, looked it up? And they're like, no, I haven't done that yet. And it's like, what can you even do to help people like that? Like, if you have a problem and you do absolutely nothing to solve it, or you have a goal and you do absolutely nothing to work towards it, I don't know how you can expect to be anything but unhappy. This is what blows my mind, because so many people will just claim that they're unhappy, you know, they don't have the things that they want, and they don't do anything. They don't have any goals or anything that they work towards. Like, literally, look at this. That is a wall of books right there. A lot of them are fiction. I do have other books in another room of the house, but when I set a goal, I'm not going to show you my goals because it's actually under the camera, and I don't want to turn it in case it falls out or anything like that. But when I have goals, I will do one of a few things immediately. The first thing I'll do is write it down so I know exactly what I was thinking about in that moment. But the next thing I'll do is I'll immediately start learning about it. So if it's any goal at all, if it's growing a YouTube channel, for example, I'll immediately go onto the library app and reserve books and have them sent to the library, or I'll immediately go and buy a book, or I'll immediately watch a podcast on it. I'll take action immediately. I'll do something that gets me closer. What you guys have to understand is that you're at A right now, and where you want to be, the goal you're trying to achieve, even if you haven't written it down like most people, that's B. So you're trying to get from A to B. The problem with most people is they don't understand that they are driving the car. If you want to get from A to B, you have to push the accelerator and move. And most people don't. They do absolutely nothing. What I do when I set a goal is I immediately take action. I do all the things I just talked about. And that's basically hitting the accelerator straight away. And that's why I actually make so much progress on my goals. But most people don't do that. So the takeaway I want you to have from this video is to just have a look in the mirror and think about yourself. Think about the things you want to achieve and ask yourself, have you even read one book on them? Like, I see people complain that they're not wealthy, and it's like, have you even read one book on money? Do you even understand its history or where it comes from? Oh, so you want to be in great shape. Have you even read one book on it? No, you haven't. So why are you complaining? Why are you complaining about the world? Why are you getting angry? Why are you complaining that people don't pay enough in taxes who are wealthier than you? Why are you complaining about any of these things when you've done literally nothing to improve your own life? It makes me angry, but hopefully some of this video sinks in. So straight away, when you finish this video, I want you to think about what you actually want to achieve, and I want you to do some work on it. And I want you to just take action. Take action can be the moral of this video. Guys, check out my ebook linked in the description. Thank you for watching and have a good one.